Welcome to Franchise Empires. And, I want to ask, you guys have 4 territories now. Do you have a sense of like how, how close are you to capacity, where you're like, yeah, we're our book of business is, we're going to be hitting our goals, and then it's like expand further, or just maybe not sit back, but manage it. Or you're like, yeah, we still got a ways to go, a lot of progress to make, and a lot of room to run, basically.
So I'm going to let Artem touch more on this one, but just our personalities, there is no hitting goals. There is no reaching capacity. We do not do a good enough job, and we're both well aware of it. We do not do a good enough job of patting ourselves in the back when we hit our goals, when we do something well. The franchisor's expectations are like at a certain level, and ours are 5 feet above that level for ourselves. And so we're just very hard on ourselves and always trying to, sky's the limit kind of thing. But I'll let Artem touch a little more on all of that.
Sure.
So, can't talk numbers without an FDD, so we're going to talk numbers. So, I'm not bound by an FDD. So, on a serious note, there's a minimum revenue expectations in the home services, right? Kind of where they expect us to be. We're going to be at about double of where we were expected to be for this full year. That being said, in our year 5, we're going to have to be, don't quote me on this, like 3 times, our revenue needs to be a 3 or 4x of what it is this year, right? So there is build and ramp up. So to answer your question, we are not at capacity within our own territory. That being said, we are looking at expanding as well. I think there's 2 more areas that I'd want to expand into. And then after that, stabilize it and just focus on growing it vertically, meaning like really going after it, door knocking, rather than just going after the geography. It's the geography is strategic, but after that, it would really be just mining every single one of those zip codes for everything there is. And we pulled our data maybe like a month ago and started analyzing our revenue per household per zip code. So we know what our revenue is. And 2 schools of thought, right? Are we doubling down on the zip codes that are overperformers, or are we putting our shoulder into the ones that are laggards that aren't as good, right? Our overperformers, newer houses, closer to our office, more money. The ones that are underperforming, much larger zip codes, not as profitable, but they have 25,000 households. I struggle to justify having 25,000 households that aren't generating revenue, right? So it's 2 schools of thought. So we are looking into that.
And just real quick, going back to your partnership question, that's another great thing about the partnership, right? He has one idea, I have the other, and it's like let's try both and see who's smarter. I mean, we're not competitive at all, but we are. But like, let's try both, or let's talk through these ideas. I didn't think. Yeah, he didn't think of that. Like, that's another of the great things about this partnership.
And then on that note too, make sure the business is well capitalized, right? If we have a marketing idea, I can go to Dan and be like, hey, I'm going to take $2,000. I'm going to throw it at this. And if I mess up, it's $2,000. We've wasted $2,000 in marketing in other areas. Learning lesson, right? People who start off undercapitalized, they really hinder themselves, because if you have to decide between paying your mortgage or marketing for 6 months away from today, like those are really rough choices. Like we started marketing for February in August because we do have that seasonality. So we started putting in road work to make sure we get through January, February, March unscathed and don't have a slowdown like last year. If you had to take draws and it was a or B situation, we'd really be in trouble.